Hey everybody, this is Shit Talk Reviews. My name's John. In the room with me is Derek. We are very lucky today. Joining us is the ethereal vocalist from the Cleveland-based band Frayle, an atmospheric doom band. Absolutely great stuff. She was kind enough to connect with us for a chat today, so please welcome Gwyn Strang. Hey
Hi.
Gwyn, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing great.
I think my cats are going to join as well because they're just poking around.
Listen, we love cats, and I just want to jump in and say, look, my wife and I and my daughter are huge fans from down here in Florida. We've been following your band for a while, and one night we were just sitting there like, I'm going to take a shot and see if Gwyn will join us on this silly little podcast. We're here to talk to you about everything but your influences. We hate those questions. We see it all the time. We already know that you're inspired by Bjork and Sleep, Portishead, Black Sabbath, obviously. Everybody knows your background. You met Sean through the fashion industry and clothing design, and you are interesting beyond interesting. And I just want to jump right into it. New label, the Oracle Management. And you posted on Friday that you have some cool stuff coming. Can you fill us in a little bit about what you can tell us that's coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've actually settled on a release date, which for us, of course, is way too far in the future. But, I understand scheduling and things like this. So I don't know if I can tell you that, but I will just tell you it's not this year. It's going to be early next year. But we have a lot of cool things coming up this year. So we're playing with the Canton Symphony Orchestra at the end of the year. They're going to be joining us, playing our stuff with us. So I think that's going to be fucking amazing. Oh, can I swear?
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
Okay.
Trash mouth away.
Okay. And then we're working on for the first time in forever, we actually have a budget for like music videos. So we're starting shooting on our first one coming up on Friday, and again at the House of Will. So it should be pretty cool. And then we've got like a bunch of ideas for like, we're just going to do 5 videos. Just like, we feel like this, of course, I mean, everybody says this about every album that they do, but this album has been written for like a year, and so right now it's like with the producer. We've never used a producer before, right? It's always been us, but it's with a producer, and like it blows my mind what because it's always been Sean and I that have just written and done everything, and it's all our ideas, and it's just we held it very close. But opening it up to like somebody else to add, it's still us, but like to add flourishes or like, hey, what about this effect? Or what about this? Like, it's amazing. And so I don't want to rush it. I've been upstairs in our studio, literally, no lie, 8 to 10 hours every single day for like the last 2 to 3 months. And this is a labor of love. Like I have, like, this is an album whose concept came to me pretty much after we finished Skin and Sorrow, and it's been there and it's been itching to get out. And so now that it's actually coming out and getting out, it feels like such a catharsis and a relief and release as well. And it's just I'm just excited to get this thing out.
Can you share with us what conceptually what this new material's about?
I think I have to be kind of coy about it, but I can say that we're all heretics in one way or another. And some more literally than others, and it just kind of exploring that idea and theme of what makes a heretic and how, like, the delivery of your heresy.
Did you feel and I'm a parent, and it's hard to let mentors of your kids mentor. Was it hard for the brand or the band of Frayle to be bringing in a wider group at first? Did you resist, or were you really open to it in the beginning?
So I think Sean was very resistant, and I've been kind of pushing to get, like, because I know that, what Sean and I can deliver is here, but I want, like, my whole thing that gets me going is just like ideas. And so if someone comes in and has like a different idea, I want to hear it. We might reject it, we might, embrace it, but like I was always super open to that. And I like it kind of, I was telling Sean the other day, it's like the creative stuff kind of makes me feel high. Like I get kind of like a high from all this stuff, and you get kind of swept up in this maelstrom of creativity. And so anything that can do that for me, of course, I'm going to chase that. I think Sean was a little bit more resistant because, he's been in the music industry for a very long time, and he has a very set way of doing things. And I think too, it's just personality. He's maybe a little bit more closed off in that sense. I'm just super open.
I've always felt like you're just scratching the surface of what Frayle could be. And yeah, I have friends. I worked with Sal Abrascato from Life of Agony and Typo Negative, so I know a lot of fans. And every time I introduce you to, and you might hate me for saying this, introduce Frayle to them, I say that you're kind of the yin to Peter Steele's yang. He was a big Hulk and a low voice, and you're the siren, eerie, creepy, witchy, counter, even female version of what he is an opposite of. I'm not saying this correctly, but do you feel like you're just now hitting your stride of what you could be, and maybe it just helps having other people pull it out of you?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I will say that I definitely see growth album after album. And quite honestly, The White Witch, although it was, life-changing and for me, because, I was so scared and fearful of putting myself out there, but just, that was kind of me dipping my toe ever so apprehensively. But this one is just, I think when you hear it, you'll know what I mean when I say it's just like the waters were kind of trickling through the dam, and now the dam has blown open, and it's kind of, it's there.
Can you talk a little bit about your creative process? Like, do you transport yourself to mentally sort of to inside the topic that you're writing about?
John smokes a shit ton and then creates in his own studio. I mean,
Awesome.
so yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I have tried smoking and eating, and so it does nothing for me except make me super paranoid, and Sean loves it. But like if I try to eat something, like everything tastes stale, like water tastes 2 days, like it's horrible. So it really does nothing for me, unfortunately. I really want it to, but it doesn't. So
sure. Well, cannabis aside, how do you get into that place?
My whole thing is like water. I have to be near water. And I grew up on the East Coast, close to the ocean. So, now the lakes are close, the Great Lakes, but at the same time, realistically, when I meditate, when I do stuff like this, it's in the bathtub. So, I will go in the bathtub and light candles and, everything else. And I have my phone, and I have like a notes app on my phone, and just lyric snippets will go in there. And then, of course, a voice message or the voice note thing. Sometimes I'll record a melody in there, but most of the time, we have our songs in Dropbox, or Sean will have a riff. And then, he has like a library of just hundreds of riffs, and I have a library of hundreds of lyric notes. And so when he, we'll kind of go through and kind of pick through, well, what do we want to kind of start with for this album? It usually starts with the riff. So we'll pick out something, and then normally my first idea is the best one, right? Everything else is kind of labored and it's right. So I don't want to hear anything until I'm ready to scratch it, scratch it. So it has to be upstairs in the studio, and then I'll just kind of like hum something or sing something over top, and then it just kind of develops from there. So then once we have that, I go in the bathtub and I look through lyric notes. Do I have anything that kind of fits what I want to say for the song, or is it just kind of stream of consciousness? And then we kind of flesh it out a little bit. Do we need a bridge? Do we just want to do, A, B, A, B, or how do we want to do it? And then that's just kind of how it works.
Yeah. Can we go back to 1692? I'm really curious how you got in the headspace for that, for that lyrical content, because there's some, the whole record is great, by the way, but there are some tracks that are really dark on there, from a lyrical standpoint.
Yeah. I cried when I first heard that record. Literally, I sat in a fetal position.
Well, thank you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
I'm sorry. So 1692 was, I just wanted, like, writing for me has always been kind of a catharsis, and it's my therapy. So, I always say I leave my feelings on the tip of my pen. I want to get everything out. And for me, being vulnerable is very difficult. So if I can write it down and make sense of it in my own head, then I can work through it. I do kind of intellectualize some things, which, whatever, but so my whole idea around 1692 was, feeling persecuted. And, I'm sure we've all had times in our life where we felt persecuted or pushed out. And so 1692 was kind of just a love story for anybody who's ever felt that way. I just wanted to give everybody a great big hug and just say, come on, we got this, I got you, come here. I want to take care of you. So, and as well as sharing my stuff, I just wanted to give everybody like a safe space to kind of share their own stuff, because things can get heavy, man. Things can get really tough, and you just need to vent. And sometimes people don't have a space where they can feel safe to do that. And, even if it's in your bedroom where you've got the door closed and, mom and dad are outside yelling or, whatever, just sit in there and just kind of let me hold you.
That was kind of the message behind Skin and Sorrow too, no?
Skin and Sorrow was after I had a lot, like during COVID, I had a lot of loss. And I think it's just different. Like, instead of feeling persecuted, that was just an immense sense of grief, and loss. And so same thing, like my whole thing in life is I just want to help people, I just want to help. And if I can help anybody by like telling them you're not alone, I'm going through this, or I've gone through this as well. I think my music, Sean writes his stuff, but my part of it is just about creating a safe space where, you can be vulnerable, and it's okay. If I can be vulnerable, trust me, and I try so hard not to be, then it's okay for you to be as well.
Yeah, that's great. For as unique a band as you are, and I mean that, like there's not another band and another singer that really sounds like you and can do the things that you do. You're also unique in how you're visualized. How much does jewelry, fashion come into play, and does sometimes that come first and then the song come after? Like, you have to put on a certain robe in order to feel a certain way in order to finish the song.
By the way,
meow.
Give that one a scritch for us. Yeah.
This is Uriel.
Hi, Uriel.
He's my favorite.
Yuki, right?
Yuki, yes.
Yeah.
Yuki for short. Fashion, I mean, it's very important to me, but it never comes first. I go. But when Sean and I are both very visual people, obviously we're, designers. And so when I think about a song and we think about putting a video together, I want to think about, like, for me, it's all about the snippets, right? Like, I want this scene and I want this to look like this and I want to be wearing this. And Sean is more of like, okay, so to get from there to there, we'll do this. So we complement each other very well. But as far as fashion, like I just love it. And there's so many interesting things out there. Like I've never really cared about being conventionally pretty. I just always want things to look interesting. And I just want to spark some conversation or something, like it's not about being pretty, it's about being interesting. That's the whole thing.
I had a question going back to your writing process. Do you write for yourself, or from a content perspective, do you write for yourself or do you write for your audience?
I think when I'm writing, it's for me. Everything is extremely personal, and that's how I work through it a lot of times, is again, mostly in the bathtub, magical bathtub. And I sit in there with my phone and I'll write it out. There are some songs that I write for the audience, and those are kind of like, Darker Than Black. That was kind of, I wrote that because I wanted to be kind of anthemic for, again, anybody who's ever felt pushed out or anything like that. So that was, I wrote that more for the audience, but like the ones that are soul crushing, those are for me. There's a song on this new album coming up, and it's just like, it's difficult to listen to. Just like on Skin and Sore, there's 2 songs that I still can't do live. I just can't, because I just wouldn't get through.
Watch them become your Enter Sandman. Then you have to play it.
Right.
Watch you be suffering every night. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. One of my favorite videos on YouTube is your video of live at the House of Wills. What does that building mean to you? Because you're going back there. You mentioned it again. And what do you feel when you go there? And this might be a witch question.
Yeah, it kind of is. So, I mean, I love it there. I think it's like, I love places and things where you can't figure them out instantaneously. Like, oh, that just caught my eye. Was that there before? What's in this corner? Like all that kind of thing is going on there. And there's all these different rooms with all different themes. And anytime you have a 7-foot Jesus, I'm there, but beyond church, but it's just such a creepy, homey place. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but to me, it feels homey. And I don't know how to explain that, but there's definitely stuff going on there. Like when we shot there last time, batteries drained instantaneously. The drone just kind of, went off and slammed into a wall, just like crazy things. There's definitely a very palpable energy there, but I don't mind it at all. I think it's great.
Can you talk a little bit about the mechanics of working with the orchestra, the project you've got coming up, those shows, or what is the logistics? How, like, who's writing those string parts? Is it a collaboration with them? Are they coming up, matching stuff to what you've already got?
Sure. So it's still really in the infancy stage, but I think they're writing it. I think they're like, we're going to say we want to play these songs, and they're going to write it. Now, there's one song that we wrote for Women of Doom a while ago called Marrow. It actually happens to be one of my favorite songs that we've done, and it actually has a string part that I wrote for it. So I'm sure that will be one of the ones that we want to play. But I think it's going to be them. So I'm super excited, with what they come up with. I'm kind of.
Is that
excited.
A one-off engagement or
one-off? I think they're doing it with a couple of other bands, I would assume.
We're not worried about them.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we're super pumped to do that. So that's in November sometime, but I don't really know when. But that will be at the Oracle I think that's in Canton. I don't know.
You said early next year, hopefully, for the album. And any touring plans after that?
So we're working with a new agent, and so there's nothing planned as of yet, but
okay,
he's got some ideas, like, I don't think I can say, but the ideas that he has are like, maybe we'll fly to London for, a one-off that's kind of in this really cool whatever. And then we go back and then, we do a kind of little drips and then we go on tour after, when the album's released. But, he's Europe only, I think, although he might handle like other areas as well. But I feel like Europe has always been easier for us to tour, which is strange, but yeah, I really like it over there. I mean, I love it here too. When we went around with Cradle, that was awesome. That was great, but I don't know. So right now, nothing that I can say, but
Gotcha.
There will be something around the album. But.
Do you enjoy touring? Not necessarily being on stage and playing, but everything else associated with touring. Do you enjoy it, or is it laborious for you?
I love it. I love every second of it. I love sitting in the van. I love driving from work, but like, I love it. And Sean actually thought, because that I would hate it, but I love every second of it. And I love, you wake up tired, maybe you sleep in the van, maybe you don't, you're off to the next gig, you play, I just love everything about it. Meeting the people,
we hope for your sake you have big giant tour buses in your future and you're hitting all of the big giant festival circuits in Europe. And I have a feeling, just my little witch side is saying that your future is going to probably entail some of that. I could be wrong, but I think I'm feeling good about it.
Let's cross our fingers for that, right? I said, if we ever get the big tour bus, I'm in the back. Y'all can sleep in the bunks. I get the back.
Take me through your perfect day. Oh, sorry, Derek. I didn't mean to step
Well, no,
on
that's
you.
the way it should be. She should have the privacy in the very, very back of the bus for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to call you when we get there, and the band's like, no, and I'm like, no, I get the back.
The guys can sit up front and fart in the middle. That's
right. Yeah. Let me be in back with my crystals and candles. That's it.
Well, take me through your perfect day. You wake up. What are you doing until the time you crash out?
Wow. I mean, there's got to be making stuff. I just want to, whether it be recording stuff or traveling's in there somewhere, but creating, like, whether it be sewing something or putting stuff together or singing and just having like a really cool conversation with other creative people and all that stuff is just really important. And that to me is what makes like the perfect day.
Nice. What are we having for lunch?
Oh, perfect day. Like nothing doesn't matter. Calories
doesn't
don't
matter.
count.
No,
just
absolutely doesn't matter.
Well, probably some giant chocolate something. Chocolate something. Realistically, then mostly I really love salads. Like I know it sounds dumb, but I love salads. I don't like heavy food except for chocolate. Like you give me like a giant chocolate
brick
cake, something. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm in the corner.
Usually when we do these interviews, whoever we're talking to is talking about drinking the blood of their enemies. So this is a salad. It's a refreshing change.
Right, salad and chocolate. That's me.
It's a nice break.
And ice water. Oh Lord, yeah, it's boring, but that's me.
What are you listening to right now? What do you have on repeat on Spotify or whatever?
Yeah, so the ones that are always on there are like King Woman, Funerals, Pine Pin. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Pijn. And then there's my guilty pleasure is Cobra. I love her.
Nice.
Yeah.
She's great.
Gets you going in the morning,
Yep.
But Typo, there's just all kinds of, it depends on my mood.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not writing, I like to turn on Portishead or Blonde Redhead or, anything like that and just relax and try to meditate. But that's it. Or, just something, there are stations like relaxing ambient music, and I'll put that on. And then that really helps me get to, a different level.
I use the Calm app. If I suggest you singing lullabies on the Calm app and they call you, will you do it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Would they allow lullabies about blood and darkness and bleeding? And they make fun of me because like your lyrics are all darkness, blood. That's
why we're talking to you. We like you. We like that stuff. Like all the Taylor Swift and having your heart broken. Whatever.
Right.
There's plenty of that out in the world. We like blood and darkness.
Right. There's not enough of that in the world.
That's right. Well, we appreciate you, your band, your essence, your music, and we wish you nothing but massive success. We're huge fans. If you're ever in Florida and you need a place to crash, the whole band can come. We will provide you laundry and food. We're not creepy. We're not. That's fine. But we're not your creepy Florida people. We're all transplants. So you can be welcomed with open arms here.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, continued success. We can't wait to hear the new record. I hope it. We are in agreement that we hope it comes out much earlier next year than later. And looking forward to hopefully catching you on the road. I hope you guys are able to get on the road sooner than later. Yeah. For all of our benefits.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Gwyn.
Appreciate it.